Good evening and welcome to Success in the City. My name's Helen Webster. I'm with the lovely
Sandra Scott, back from the dead, I should say. And our fabulous guest today is the inspirational.
My name's Rob Lapsey, and I'm the co-founder of Love Jasmine, we're a charity that provides support to families that have lost a child.
Brilliant.
Amazing. Thank you for giving your time to us today, Rob. And we're really lucky to have you on. So first, as always, we shout out to the kids, any little people who've done amazing things this week. So I'm going to start just because I've written it down.
Okay.
So I'm going to give a shout out to James and Hannah. So James and Hannah Walker. So Rachel's two little ones. And Hannah had chicken pox last week, and now James has got chicken pox, and they're like proper little spotties. But they're just rocking life. So they've got like all these little lumps and bumps, but they're just doing amazing. So big shout out to them for just being cool and sticking with it, sort of thing. What about you, Sam?
Brilliant. I'm going to give a shout out to Rowan, who did his reading today, his Spanish reading. He was absolutely ace. And to Corey, who went and did his hilarious, had a Russian exam this morning, didn't know he had the Russian exam. The teacher said he did brilliantly in his pronunciation. So I was like, thank God. So they're two kids who I choose her. So well done to the pair of them.
Brilliant. And what about you, Rob?
Bit of a general one, really. Just want to shout out to some of the kids that we've been supporting. Some of them have made some really good progress over the last few weeks, and I won't name names, but they should be really proud of themselves.
Well done to all the little people. Well done. So a success this week for you personally, something that's happened to you that's been amazing. Sandra, you can start this time.
I've got two little successes. One is I'm back here today because I've been so poorly. It was been ridiculous. Massive gratitude to Des, who I just love, who's hilarious, who stood in for me last week. So great for that. And also brilliant today. So I went down to Esto España on Hope Street. I don't know if people know it. It's lovely. You may have had dinner there, haven't we? And it's a Spanish restaurant, and we're going to be doing a course in the restaurant. So we're going to do a thing so I've worked with Andres, who's lovely there, and we're going to do tapas and Spanish lessons. So we'll launch that at the end of the month. So I'm quite excited. We finally got that boxed off. So brilliant.
Yeah. Back to face, isn't it, with everybody learning language and eating food? What more could you ask for? So what about you, Rob? Success this week for you personally?
The learning Spanish and tapas sounds fantastic. Actually, I might come to that. We've recently gone live with a website, and part of what it was just sort of to go paperless with a lot of the stuff we do around counselling in terms of storing counselling notes and people being able to refer themselves online. And the sort of second part of that was sort of finished today in terms of everything sort of gone paperless with that now. And it's been an absolute long time in the making. So we've eventually got there today. We're certainly with all the counselling side of it. So yeah, that's been a success for me today.
Brilliant. And we'll find out more about that a little bit later on, of how it all works and everything like that. So my success this week is my lifelong ambition and my dream is to own a camper van. For the bank holiday, I went out in a camper van for 4 days, wild camping, had the best time of my life, loved it, best holiday I've ever had in my life. And when you have a little goal or a dream, and then sometimes you achieve it and you think, or you do something, you think, oh God, why did I ever think I wanted to do that? Well, it's just made me want a camper van even more. So it's gone to the top of my list, like even more now, because it was just like the coolest thing in the world. So everyone who's thinking about getting in a camper van, get in it and just drive. It's just liberating. So yeah.
And we went and had our business meeting there, Rob, on Monday morning. So she went away with Phil for the weekend, and then I got to go along and have a coffee. So we did our planning for like at 7 o'clock in the morning. Can I just say, Helen, because you've ignored it, Des Flanagan's put, shout out to the only director of awesome in the country, because Helen's job title in IP Presents is the director of awesome. So thanks for that, Des, for Helen. Yeah,
thank you very much, Des. He did say before he was going to put it on, and I was just roaring laughing in the car. So Rob is our guest today, and we are going to play This or That. Okay, so are you going first, San, or am I going first?
You can go first today if you like.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this first. Okay, Sandra first.
Oh, go on.
Would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf?
Oh, dear God. A werewolf, obviously. You get fur, which is really good. And mind you, vampires can fly. I don't want to suck anybody's blood. What do werewolves eat?
Humans.
Right, so the choice isn't great. Okay, then. If they both eat people, then a vampire. Rob's wondering what on earth he's come on tonight. A vampire has the ability of flight.
Okay. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I think I'd have to go with the vampire. Werewolves are too hairy.
I want
A vampire, you get to live forever.
Do you know what?
I'd
Maybe
go
I'll be a
vampire as
werewolf
well.
then.
Yeah, go on, son.
What did you want, though? Are you going to be a
A
werewolf?
vampire?
Or just
Well, I
sit
don't
around?
know, because if you're a werewolf, you can be a human and you just walk around rocking life. And then when it's a full moon, you're just like, ooh, and then you just so yeah. And I think I might be a werewolf. I think I'd be a werewolf.
Okay, Rob, paella or moussaka?
Paella. 100%.
Moussaka, because I don't like seafood.
You don't have to have seafood in the paella. You can have chicken.
No,
and
we had the vegan-y one, which was lovely, didn't we? We had the veggie one when we went. They did special for us, which was amazing, wasn't it? What about you, Sam?
Moussaka, actually, although I love paella, I love moussaka as well. I say that because I've done a fake moussaka for tea.
Oh, well done. Okay. Working at home or working in the office, Sandra?
Right. I like to go to work each day. So I'd rather have an office, definitely. I'd rather have premises to go to 100%.
Yeah.
But it depends. If you've got like it depends on the premises, but I would rather go to work in an office each day, definitely, than be in the house.
Yeah. What about you, Rob?
Same. I'd rather, when it's at home, it's the boundaries are blurred. I think when you got to go out to work, that's different. That's when you're at work. It's easier to switch off if you're not working in the home. I think for me, I much prefer going to one office.
Although, Rob, you can put a wash load out at dinner time. Which
that's why I prefer going to the office.
I'll just get that wash load out quick. What about you, Helen?
Oh, office 100%. I'm like Rob. It sort of blurs the lines, but also you'd have to get dressed and leave your front door.
Yeah.
And I think every single day, I think the most important thing to do is to get dressed and leave your front door every single day. Yeah, that's so yeah, 100% office for me. What about you, Sam? Next one.
Okay, so my next one is, Rob, would you rather, and what you said about food before might be the answer to this, would you rather go on holiday to Spain or Greece?
Tough one. Greece, I think.
Oh.
Prefer the islands. I like Spain. I'm trying to learn Spanish very badly at the minute, but I prefer Greece. I think I prefer the Greek islands.
Okay.
So I've never been to Greece, so I'd quite like to go to Greece, but I'd probably say Spain because I just love it that much. Yeah, what about you, Sam?
Well, I love Greece. Okay, but I prefer Spain because I like Madrid. I like the cities. There's a lot of, there's culture in Greece as well, of course, but and the islands are beautiful, but I really prefer Spain because like literature and cinema and everything. Yeah. Definitely. Okay.
I've got two. Okay, but I'm going to pick this one.
Oh, go on.
Born in the future or born in the past? Rob.
What?
The future. I think being born with the past, if you knew what was coming, would be quite burdensome. So I think I'd rather not.
Oh yeah, not if you knew what was coming. Would you rather be born like years and years ago, or like massively in the future?
in that case, in the past, I think.
Because Rob, you would clearly get the lottery numbers and then buy a ticket, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? You'd be laughing, really.
No, you don't know anything. Would you have rather have been born in the past, or would you rather be born in the future? You don't know any difference.
I think the recent past, probably.
What about you, Sam?
The recent past.
The recent past. What, like in the last 20 years or something?
No, so probably a bit earlier, probably the early part of the last century, possibly.
This is quite profound, Helen.
How deep is this?
I know, yeah.
Supposed to be a bit of fun. What are you up?
Yeah, I think the future a bit, really, in the future, because, well, we never know what's coming, though, do we?
You want to go around on a skateboard with no wheels?
Yeah, not only that, and it's not been, but like even in my lifetime, things have changed, like opportunity, like even at school. So if I say to young people now, when I was at primary school, say, right, girls, you go and do the sewing, boys, you go and do the technical drawing. I remember that happening in woodwork, and like girls weren't allowed to play on the field. We weren't allowed to play football. We weren't, you know, and things have changed now. So I think that's only going to get better, hopefully.
So let's not be that deep. Would you rather be born in the future or the past?
Future. Future. Although I wouldn't have minded living in Liverpool in the 60s, because my auntie and uncle always had a ball. You always hear about that. So
yeah, I think I'd rather be born in the past, before technology, before roads, before anything, when you were just like lived as a human, and you just lived and you grew your veg and you just had a little chill like that. The simple life.
I can't even sleep in a tent for a couple of nights, so that would not be me.
Yeah.
No.
Helen, you'd have had the plague, you'd have had scare, there'd have been rodents everywhere.
We have that now.
You'd have lived in a hut made of mud, not in a million years, dear God.
The simple life. Anyway, go on, last one for Rob.
Okay, then. Last one for you, Rob. Okay, cat or dog, which is always controversial.
Oh, dog, definitely. Dog, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to say dog, even though that's like, because the cat just always whinges. The cat's outside, the dog's outside as well. I've put the dog out as well because she was like all over the place.
Well, I'm like one of these people who's absolutely torn between cat and dog, you know. I like dogs, but it depends on the breed, the type of dogs. But so if I had to pick one or the other forever, I'd probably pick a cat because they're more independent and they don't sit on my knee because I'm too wriggly. But I like the idea that they'd sit on my knee if I sat still.
Cool. Okay, so now we know a little bit more about Rob, which was very deep, wasn't it?
Like, what the hell have I agreed to do?
Why am I here? So, Sandra, I'm going to let you introduce Rob tonight, and then it's going to be over to Rob. Rob, we're going to talking about 35-ish minutes
about your journey and everything. So, okay, so our guest this evening is Rob Lapsey from the charity Love Jasmine, and I know Rob because Rob is in a business network we're in, that a BNI group, and he has a different, what we call a chapter, different business group, and each chapter has a charity that they support. And you're the charity in another group. It's called Alpha, isn't it? Your group, is that right?
Alpha. Yeah, it's Alpha.
You're the charity. So I went to see you and we had a really good meeting and that. And I thought you'd be a brilliant guest for the show because you do a lot of good in the city. So if you'd like to tell us your journey and how you came to do what you do and what the charity does and how we can help and support the charity.
Yeah, of course. My wife and I set the charity up in 2016. It was to support families who have lost a child. We lost our daughter Jasmine in 2014. Jasmine was 6 when she died. She choked to death when we were away on holiday. Obviously, your world just falls apart at that point. It's really difficult to, just even get up, to be honest. And it took a long time for us to get to the point where we thought, well, should we give it a go? We're setting the charity up. A lot had happened in the interim. It took nearly 2 years. A lot happened in that interim, that 2 years. We weren't in a place to do it, mentally, physically. But it sort of come to the point, at some point in 2016, we thought, well, if we don't do it now, we never will. And over the period of months before it, and I can't even remember exactly when it was, we thought, well, no, this is what we want to do. It just sort of happened, really. And we got together, approached a few people to see if they'd be trustees, people we knew who we trusted, but people who knew we could bring something to it. And we got the charity registration number in September of that year, 2016. The following year, then we started raising money. So over the next few months, we raised some money so we could start putting on services. And the first things we did were put on support group for parents and also for siblings as well, kids who were bereaved. We put that on in the Yellow Sub in Brunswick Dock. We were help there as well. And that was one of the main focuses of what we wanted to do at the time, was to allow people to come together and meet others, because there was nothing in the area at all. That was our main focus, really. Over the year progressed, we started bringing a little bit more money in. We started doing more stuff, complementary therapies. We started providing families with that, help getting to the support groups so people can get to us. They could, we'd help them out with taxi fares, get them home safely afterwards, and particularly, they're trying to get 2 buses or whatever. It makes it really difficult for people it puts people off. And so it's everything, like everything else, it takes a time to sort of embed itself, really. The support groups took a little while. We did different types of groups in the first year. One for people who'd lost an adult child, and one for families who'd lost a younger child. But they were slow taking off, so we combined them the following year in 2018 to one parents group, and it's been running ever since. Different people come at different times. There's no obligation to come for a period of time. They can drop in and out whenever they feel like it. It's sort of done in a really relaxed way. So if people feel the need to come and talk to somebody, they can. It's there once a month, and it's and that's the basis of it, really. And we've got different. 6 years on, we've got a grandparents lunch and chat, which meets once a month. We've got a coffee morning, which we started in 2018, which is open to grandparents as well. Aunts and uncles can come along, and that's once a month. And then we run a group on Sunday just for families we support. These are for families who've lost a child, but have also going on to have another child. So that's what, and we do that once a month. So we run 4 groups at the moment. And we got told groups didn't work at first, and people were very reluctant to get involved. Groups don't work for bereaved families, and you just think, well, we couldn't see the sense in it. It just didn't ring true for us. Group support works in so many different areas and so many different aspects of life, but it just didn't ring true to us. So we persevered with it, and where we are still 6 years later down the line, we're still providing that group support. And it's important for people to just have that chat with others whenever they feel up to it.
But Rob, isn't it the case though, for a lot of people, they feel better if they can ever speak to someone or share their experiences with someone who's been through something similar to them. Yeah. Everyone's different. Everyone's circumstances aren't the same. And, you mentioned people who've lost a younger child, people who've lost an adult child, who people often don't think about, and grandparents. But there's people in that group who will become friends, presumably, and support each other mutually as well. Isn't there anything?
There is. As relationships come from it. There's people come to our groups have then swap numbers and they're in touch with each other, and that's what it's about. Is creating that community for people that they feel safe in. They might come to our group, only come twice, but if they pick somebody's number up, somebody understands what they're going through, and then they can support each other. But the group's worked because it served its purpose. Them 2 people might not have met if it hadn't been for that group. They may come again and don't connect with anybody, and again, but they'll have that connection with somebody, and it's that support. About creating that support network for people. It's really important.
Yeah, 100%. I think as well, it's knowing that you're not alone, isn't it? That because it must be. It's a horrendous thing to happen, and then if you're on your own, you're feeling like lonely and stuff. Whereas if you can go somewhere where somebody else has been through it, and everybody's circumstances are different, but as you say, to have that support network. But for me, I picked up on the siblings, so quite a lot of the time, There's lots of groups for, parents, and especially you've had the grandparents in as well. But siblings is a massive one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we do at the minute. We've only been doing individual one-to-one support for siblings, and it's something we want to try and rectify again this year. Is to have them group things. We did one just before the lockdown, where we took 10 bereaved siblings under the age of 11 to Barnstondale every day through the February half term, and they had a great time. And they mixed with each other, and they realised that what they were going through, they weren't on their own. And again, that friendships came with that as well. And it was really powerful seeing them, the relationships develop over the course of the week. They did outdoor activities, they did indoor activities where they did sort of memory making, but they got outside to do things. They planted trees. It's just, I think, really important. Actually, getting people outside and getting their hands dirty, certainly for kids, was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a brilliant centre there, isn't it? Over the water, for people who don't know, and they do a lot of good work there as well. But it's not cheap to run trips like that at all. And do you do a lot of fundraising, Rob, for the charity, or is it funded, or?
A lot of the money we get, we raise ourselves through fundraising events for people who have either been supported by us, who go on to do their own fundraising events, or people hear about us, they're looking for someone to support businesses in the area who maybe have as a charity of the year. There's a lot of people who support us over the years as a running club, MRC Liverpool. They've been a great support over the years. But we've got a virtual event on the 2nd and 3rd of July, which people can sign up to on our website. It's called Everybody Loves to Run. It's called Everybody Loves to Run. It's a virtual running event, and you don't even need to run. You can walk it. It's a 1K, 2K, or 5K. You can do it anywhere. You don't need to be in Liverpool. It doesn't matter where you are. You can get involved, and you can sign up through our website. We'll send you a medal you can present yourself after you've finished. And it's a good way to raise some sponsorship money for us. It was a really big event for us last year, and we're hoping it'll take off again this year as well, and people can get involved and raise some money for us. Certainly needed.
Yeah, what's it called, Rob? I'm just putting it in the chat. So it's the 2nd and 3rd of July. It's a virtual run, and it's called
Everybody Loves to Run, and you can sign up on our website, www.lovejasmine.org.uk.
Okay, and we'll put all of that on as well after the show, and promote that and everything for you. So this is quite funny here actually now, Rob, because let me tell you, Helen, what run are you doing? Have you signed up to?
So I've signed up to Man versus Coast, which is on the 2nd of July, which is a 25-mile run from Penzance to Land's End.
You know what, Rob? I'm going to do your run.
So on that day, but what I could do is I could do my first 5K, and I could record the first 5K because it's on the 2nd of July, my race. I could do the first 5K as a Love Jasmine thing, and I could do a little stop, and then I could do a little video, and then I could carry on. So I'm raising funds for someone else. But I think during lockdown, because nobody was meeting up where and running clubs weren't allowed, and it's a great way to get out and stuff. And I did the Run for Holly, which was a virtual run, and we all had to wear pink to run for Holly. And it was amazing because I ended up, you had to wear pink and then go for a run. And it was really funny because I met about 4 other people who were just in the local area who all had pink on, and I was thinking, they've got pink on. So virtual runs are amazing because, again, you can do it your own time, you can walk it, you can do it with the dog, you can push the pram, you can walk along with a friend and have a chat. And if you get a medal, people will do, so I'll do anything for like a medal or a certificate or a badge or a sticker or anything like that. So if you get a medal as well, that's like really super. So people sign up to it and then they can get sponsorship, and then all the money goes back into the amazing services. But you don't just do support groups, do you, Rob?
No, the biggest part of what we do actually is counselling, and it's like the counselling service for when we say families, parents, grandparents, and siblings, but it's not really it's strict. We look at the family dynamics in terms of, like, you know, maybe be a step parent, it might be a foster parent. Do you know what I mean? So it's not that strict. We just always look at the family. But the counseling's important. It gives people the time and space on their own. For some people, sitting in a room with others isn't for them. You know, having that time and space on their own when nobody's involved in it is really important, and it's what people ask for most is when they're looking for support from us, is having that one-to-one support. It's and that's the real driver, is why we do have to do the fundraising events, because it's important to keep that support there for families, and kids as young as 4 can access that one-to-one support. Parents, grandparents, older siblings as well. So even people who've lost an older brother or sister, they can come to us for support as well.
And when I went to see you at the premises they've got are just beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous. And they're on the Wavertree Technology Park, but they're really sort of secluded. It's away, so behind it, it's just like trees and everything. So it's where the counselling rooms are absolutely beautiful, very quiet, very calm. And you had like decorative art. It just looks like nice hexagons on the wall, but it's actually soundproofing. So, because he said when they took the premises, people could hear, so you didn't want that. You couldn't have 2 sessions running simultaneously in different rooms. So they put all the soundproofing on. So it's so quiet. And it's just, when you go in, you feel very calm. It's a beautiful environment. And you showed me all the things you've got as well, didn't you? All the sensory stuff. You mentioned working with children, 4-year-olds upwards.
Yeah.
And they've got all these beautiful things for the kids, haven't you? The setup there, it's absolutely tip top, but at the same time, very calm and welcoming as well. I was really impressed by the environment when I walked in. And I would just recommend anybody to come and see you. It's quite. How do people come to see you? Can they just pick up the phone, Rob, or email you, or what?
We try and keep it as simple as possible. I mean, people can they can contact us, pick the phone up if they wanted to. Since we've started, people can message us, contact us through social media. They can even send us a text message. We've got an office mobile. If people want to message us, they can message us through that. As part of the new website, and this come through about the pandemic as well, and trying to make it easier to refer. Families can now refer themselves online through our website and do all the we call the initial introduction paperwork online themselves. They can do that at their own leisure. They don't need to necessarily come in to book an appointment at the office. So argument's sake, they could self-refer now online, and we'd call them tomorrow to get their availability for counselling. And if we had a space, they could start the day after, if it worked for everybody. That's the idea, is to try and keep it that quick, so people are not waiting for support. And unfortunately, we do have a little bit of a waiting list at the minute. It's not something we've sort of ran very much of. We've always tried to keep a low waiting list as much as possible, but unfortunately, the demand is great, and we're not alone in that in the city as well. The bereavement agencies, support organisations are saying exactly the same thing. There's a lot of demand on what we do.
I think as well, sorry, San, I think what's coming out of sort of the pandemic and things like that is people are more open to talking now, aren't they? So they're more open to sharing their feelings, and and it's okay, and with sort of like the positive aspect of mental health, that it's not a negative thing, and you can be, and I think with the counselling thing as well, we've had a couple of like men's groups and things like that, and who've been guests who've done amazing things and stuff, and I think just people are more open to talking about it. And so the dynamics that you get through the door, do you have quite a lot of men and women, or is it more grandparenty, or what's the dynamics of the people who are coming through?
It is mostly bereaved mums who access the counselling. We do see bereaved dads and granddads and brothers and sisters, but it is mostly bereaved mums that we see for the one-to-one support. It does sort of, it is a bit of a cliche, fellas don't talk, but we do provide support to bereaved dads. Even if they're not sure about it, they can always pick up the phone and I'll speak to them. I'll be honest about it. Counseling's great, but it's not for everyone.
No.
Sometimes just just sometimes just having a chat with somebody might work for somebody, but the counselling does work. The counsellors we've got are good and we trust them, and I'd recommend any of them to anyone that comes through the door. So, but if people just want to have a chat and an informal chat about what we do, more than happy to speak.
And is some of the counselling done remotely then, or is it all in your premises? So they can do it online.
We do a mixture of both. We use Zoom for one-to-one counselling, and it's stayed since the pandemic. We've carried that on. It's never ended. We're still doing that remote support, particularly for people who don't live in the area. We do provide support to families who are not within the Merseyside area, so they wouldn't be able to get to us for support. So it's given them access to what we do. But even families in this area, if they can't get out to us, or if they're stuck, say they've taken ill, well, we can still have the session. They don't need to cancel a session. So it helps with attendance. It helps with the therapeutic value of keeping attending counselling.
Brilliant. It's great. You could thought of everything really to make it accessible for everyone, haven't you? Really. And that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the families, we're still providing transport. We're helping some people get home, because there is some people. We're right by a station, but not everywhere in Liverpool's connected by a train station. So if you're not near a train station, it can be a little bit more problematic using buses. People don't want to come for a counselling session. You're delving into some really painful stuff. You don't want to be getting 2 buses home. If circumstances, financial, they might not fancy getting home by themselves. We'll get them home safely. And we provide a lot of wellbeing activities as well, try and help people build up their own coping strategies. We held a wellbeing day in a place called Healing Time in Birkenhead last month. There was 11 bereaved parents went over there for the whole day. There was yin yoga, there was meditation, sound healing. They had a vegetarian lunch. We're doing another one again this month as well. So it's about giving different people different skills to try and help them cope. Because nothing takes this away. There's nothing that's ever going to fix it. It's just giving people something to help deal with it better.
Yeah, I can imagine that it isn't
so
something.
Do people?
Sorry, Hal.
No. Sorry, do people pay for the service, or is it fundraised, or I think my internet's gone a bit skew with?
You're okay.
No, we don't ask anybody for money. We try and keep. We do the fundraising. We apply for grants, or we'll do it in our way. But I think it just seems such a crass conversation to have with somebody when they're walking through the door and they've lost a child. How much money do you earn? Have you got any money? A lot of people come out of work when they lose a child. So they might live in a nice house, they might have a nice car, but they might have stopped earning money. It just seems a conversation that I personally couldn't have. I can understand why people do it, organisations do it, because you have to. You've got to survive, and it's better to have the organisation carry on. It's just not a conversation I personally could have.
No.
I couldn't have that conversation either.
You don't want any barriers, and it's just more stress, isn't it? And the process, the practical aspects of having come out of the process like that is horrendous anyway. So it sounds like you've thought of everything to make it accessible and as easy as possible. Like even the point you made about people going home after a counselling session, you don't think of that. You just think, oh, well, it's accessible by transport. Well, actually, they don't just want to walk to a bus and get on a bus or something like that, maybe, or maybe they're not in a fit state to drive. I think that you have really thought of everything. So if people want to support you, do you have events going throughout the year, or?
We will be doing an event in the autumn. It was originally going to be in the Supporters Club, but we might be changing in Anfield, but we may be changing the venue to somewhere else. So I'll keep you updated on that. But then, we were looking at doing different things out the year. We're looking to probably do more events, certainly through 2023. We used to have a few events a year, certainly outdoor events. We've got a skydive actually taking place on the 18th of June. So there's 12 people jumping out of a plane for us a week on Saturday.
You doing it?
No, I keep making excuses every year, but I keep running out of excuses. So yeah, there's a weight barrier on it. So and that's my excuse.
What's the maddest thing you've done, Rob, for fundraising, or had anyone do for you?
My brother Neil and my brother-in-law Liam, the three of us went to Nepal in 2017 and did a marathon in the mountains of Nepal. That was an amazing experience, to be honest. I'd been looking to do something different. I'd ran marathons in the past, and I'd been looking to do something different, and it just appeared on my Facebook page at one point, and I said to my wife, I said, that's it, that's what I want to do. And that was in the January of 2017, and in November the three of us flew out and we did it, and it was incredible. It was sort of everything and more, really. But when you were walking, you were catching your breath, and then you have to run up a mountain for 20 odd miles. Yeah, it was good.
Oh my goodness, what an achievement, though. That's so
Did you
good.
get a certificate and a medal and a sticker?
I got actually, I didn't get a medal. There was a little Buddha trophy, which I've actually got on a table next to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you not get a tattoo over it? I'd have well got a tattoo over that. I'd have got a tattoo over that or something like that.
Haven't you got Sorry.
Sorry, Sandra.
I'm just saying, I asked Helen, I seem to remember her telling me she had a Tough Mudder tattoo. So she's got a Tough Mudder. So when you two have got your big certificates and everything, I'll have my 1K medal, don't worry. And can I just say, Rob, my very first Battler gig I did was in Sefton Park. And it was for people who'd been running around all the spring runs, around the park. And they gave us a medal. I was there with the drum. And they put this 5K medal on me. Someone went, that's a fraud. Because I don't run. I just don't like it at all. I'm not a runner at all. So I think it's dead funny. But I've got like the Santa Dash medal. I've got these like pathetic ones,
It's a good medal to have. It's a good medal to have. So what other fundraising things or what's the wackiest thing that other people have done? Or the kids have done?
Yeah.
One of the first things that somebody did, and I think it was the first thing we didn't know about until they were actually doing it. There was a school in Crosby that a wacky sock day or a crazy sock day, and they just decorated all the socks. And it's always stuck in my mind because it was the first time somebody'd ever done something for us like that, and they'd done it. And it was so they sent us that we were made up with that was a really nice touch. I can't remember what they raised off the top of my head because it was a few years ago now, but it was just one of them things that it means a lot because it was the first time somebody else had done, and it was just so simple. People actually coloured their own socks in, and but that was a nice thing that somebody's done.
What a great idea! And you mentioned before about being a business charity of the year. Do any businesses support you now, or is that something you're looking to get support with?
Yeah, we've just been Blaze Media, who
I went in Rebecca,
Beth Waterfield,
yeah, she's she's been great. She's now at the BNI Alpha chapter with us, and she's recommended us for that, and it's nice for people to do that, for people to get involved in what we do and help us with our fundraising, because it's tough times for everybody. People's disposable incomes have dropped massively, so it impacts everybody, businesses and certainly charities. I'm sure we're all feeling the pinch here. So for people to get more help off people, it's fantastic.
Brilliant. Yeah, we're having that conversation with a few people today in business about it, saying it is difficult at the moment. It really is. So if anyone can support you, that would be marvelous, because the service you're offering is excellent, and counselling can just make such a difference to outcomes for people, having the right correct support and everything. What would you say to anyone who's maybe thinking, I'd like to come and speak to you, but they sort of haven't had the nerve to pick up the phone, or what would you say to encourage them, really?
Drop us a text even. We've got on our website is our office mobile number, and somebody's pretty much always got it. We don't always, I'll be honest, don't always answer it when it's not office hours, because it's not a crisis line if such, but we will always get back to people. So if it's during a day, it'll get answered, and if you're not sure, just drop us a text and we communicate by that. And if at some point you're ready to have a chat, then one of us will speak to you. Certainly no obligation at all. But even just having a chat with somebody and to let them know what we do, and just be honest with people and say, well, this might work, this might not work. But if you try that, it doesn't work. Well, there's this. Give this a go and just see. We're there. Just anybody wants to have a little chat.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good, as you were saying, one thing's not right for for everybody. There's not one sort of route to it. So, by having a little chat and you say, look, we offer this, and they go, and say, well, if that doesn't work, you can do this. You've got like options, haven't you? And giving somebody the choice. Whereas, if they went to maybe the GP or something like that, and it takes so much time, and sometimes when you've got enough time, you talk yourself out of it. Whereas when you're getting a response, sort of super quick, like you guys are giving response, then you're in the moment and you get your text back or you get a phone call or something. You think, well, I've got to do this now, haven't I? Sort of, it gives you that little bit more, or rather than 6 weeks later and you think, oh, well, I'm not answering that, or it's sort of, So yeah, I think it's an amazing service. And so for people to get involved, do you have volunteers? Do you have, how do people get involved?
A lot of the volunteers we use are generally bereaved parents or the counsellors who will help out with groups and stuff like that. So certainly anybody, we've done events in the place to do, and they love to run, which is virtual now. That was an actual event in Stanley Park for 2 years, where it was a kids running event, which we put on there. So we use lots of volunteers then. In terms of volunteers now, a lot of it is just people helping out with the groups and stuff like that. So or volunteer counsellors, which we use volunteer counsellors who help us out and take some of the workload and stuff like that. So, but if we get back to doing some more outdoor events again next year, so certainly help us get involved with the fundraising. Get involved with everybody loves to run. If you put events on, come along if you can. It all helps, and it's certainly appreciated.
Brilliant. And how many people? It's you and your wife, isn't it, Rob? Is it Kath, your wife, who set it up?
Yeah, Kathy. Yeah.
Kathy, sorry.
Yeah.
And so, how many people do you have helping and working there?
We have 4 permanent employees at the minute, and we use a team of sessional and volunteer counsellors, and there's about 6 of them. Mm-hmm. Some of them do maybe 2 or 3 hours a week. Some will do maybe 5 or 6. So it just varies, depends on what their availability is and everything else as well. But there's generally a couple of us in the office most days, except when COVID strikes and there's one.
And
but yeah,
sorry, I was going to say that's incredible, really, because you and your wife just set that up from scratch. And now you look what you've achieved with that, employing people and having part-time counsellors as well. And, it's quite an achievement that to have done that. I'm sure you realise, you should be, are you proud of what you've achieved?
Yeah, we are. I think the proudest moment, or it certainly was at the time, was early in 2017. We wrote to the Mayor of Liverpool at the time, Joe Anderson, and asked him to scrap child burial charges for children under the age of 16. And it was, to be honest, it was the easiest thing we've ever done, because he just said yes. And then we wrote to the leader of the Knowsley Council, and he said the same thing. And then in my head thinking, why hasn't somebody done this before?
No one thought.
Because all it took was a letter. And I think whatever happens with the charity going forward, that'll be there.
Yeah, it's a legacy, isn't it? It's a legacy that, that you guys have achieved something, so that you wouldn't even sort of comprehend that would happen anyway, isn't it? That there would be a charge or anything like that. So so it's like already left a legacy, hasn't it? Of by you setting up and doing these things, and I think as well, like being, living it and sort of like being passionate about it. When you speak to people, you've had the experience, so sometimes you're not there like as I know this and I know that and the other. You're basically saying, I've lived it. This was my experiences. It might not be the same as yours, but we can offer this, and this, isn't it?
Definitely.
Sorry, I'm not an expert you know, I've got my experiences, but they're not the same as everybody else's. Do you know what I mean? It's just about trying to give people something to help them. You know, there's different things there, because different parts of my sort of journey since Lost Jasmine, I could have gone to a group and I couldn't have gone to a group, because it changes. Everything changes over periods of time. What works for you might not work for you next week, and it's just about making sure that it's there for people who, you know, they know themselves far better than ever I could, or anyone else. So
yeah. And I think, you know, you're just a perfect example of a wonderful human. And I remember you saying that, you know, you and your wife had quite full on, you know, successful jobs. You know, and you've done this now because you felt it was the right thing you do, and you needed to do something positive to support other people who were going through something similar to what you yourselves went through, you know. And that's programs about local people who achieve great things, you know, for others. What you've done is extremely selfless as well, you know. We're just lucky to have you on the show, really.
No, thank you.
Not at all.
But we haven't finished. So once we'll get all your social medias, and we'll put all the social medias on Success in the City, we'll also get everybody to sign up for the virtual run. And if you don't want to do the run, that's okay. You can donate. Yeah, so you can get involved in that way. And if anybody wants to do, you know, maybe listening in and think that their businesses wants to get involved, and use you as, you know, the charity of the year, then you can either message us, or you can go onto the website and speak to Rob direct. Or sometimes, you know, people will do like a little cake sale or a tuck shop or a little something in work. It hasn't got to be everything massive.
Yeah.
And if everybody does a little tiny something, you know, like if somebody's working in a school and they want to get involved, and, you know, we did a great one a couple of years ago, and a school wanted a bike shed, and we drew a massive bike on the wall. And people come in and stuck like pennies and 2 pences and 10 pences to the wall, and then it created this huge bike out of you know, loose change.
Yeah.
And when they counted it, there was like 400 and something pounds. But you'd said, oh, there's about 40 quid on that.
Yeah.
And they were dead excited. And so if you had 2 pence, or whether you had 10 pence or 50 pence, it didn't matter. You were still sticking your little bit. And we did the penny mile as well in when I had the pub, and we put pennies all next to each other, and they went all around. They go all around the pub. I can't remember how much it is, but you can work out, and it's something like 300 quid in pennies. And you put them all next to each other, and it's a mile. It's a mile long. So there's all little mad ideas, isn't it? That doesn't cost, you know, that people can just, and then, you know, they can donate it all over to and get involved. Oh yeah. So Joe Swinburne's listening in. So I'm running the race for the Swinnies, and she's just said maybe Dana and her can do a little run in Cornwall, and I think that'd be amazing. I think you could. Yeah, so that'd be ace if Joe and Dana did a little run. That'd be lovely. Yeah, that'd be cool. So I want to say a massive thank you to you, Rob, for sharing your story. And, you know, you are an inspiration, and you and your wife have done amazing things. And, you know, there'll be lots of people out there who are really grateful for the support that you offer. Joe's just said it will be a little one. You can do the 1K, Joe. She can do 5K anyway. So we're going to move on to Redface. Something slightly embarrassing that's happened this week that people can laugh along with, not at you. So I'm just going to go first on this. Normally people...
I haven't got one.
I know, because I forgot to tell you. People tune in to hear Sandra's Redface moments, okay? Because they're like it's usually hilarious. But we went wild camping. Okay, so we went in the camper van, and there was... on the second night, we pulled into this little foresty wood thing, like you pulled off the track. And we pulled in. So we pulled into the side, and then I took the dog for a walk. And as I walked up this path, and it wasn't very wide. And anyway, I walked up with the dog. And on the left was this big, massive Mercedes Sprinter van or something like that. So a big, big van that had been done up as a camper van, but it was parked right into like the trees bit. So I thought, God, how did he get there? Anyway, so I walked up, took the dog for a walk, come back, goes to bed. The next morning, So because up north it was like lightish, it was sort of like dawn, as you woke up. So I woke up at about 5:30, and I thought, so I'll take the dog for a walk. So I gets up, gets the dog, goes for a walk. So I'm walking along like that, and the birds are singing, and there's not a soul about. It was just like idyllic. It was just beautiful. And as I walked up to the camper van, the door goes zip, like that of the camper van, and there's a fella stood. So he had absolutely nothing on. Open the door to say good morning, Will. That's all. But it was literally, I was like, and I just went, morning. And he went, all right, pet. And I just carried on. He must have been absolutely fuming. He must have woke up and thought, oh, it's a lovely morning. And he was just like,
I don't care if you're in the middle of nowhere.
There was literally, Sandra, there wasn't a human about. He was in the middle of the woods.
You were walking your dog, so there was a human about. That's put a pair of shorts on. What a disgrace. Not me.
So I walked up and I thought, I'll walk away for about an hour. So I walked all the way up this little road, turned around and come back, and then I was going, coughing or something. But he had this bad old shut up.
Well, if that had been me, Rob, you don't know the story of me going up Millvale and needing the loo. This is so Helen and Phil have been wild camping, and she's like so happy about it, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh, that's nice. Nightmare. And I had to go to the toilet going up Millvale one time, coming back down or whatever. So I was like, oh no, I've needed a wee. My husband said, you'll have to go and have a wee in the bush over there, whatever. And so then I went over to have a wee in the bush. All of a sudden, from nowhere, this guy comes with a backpack on. He was like training for the Marines or something, comes running past. I went, jumped out my skin, screamed. He didn't flinch. No, sorry, love. Nothing. Not a peep. Just carried on like that. And I just thought, no. So I don't fancy him thinking there'd be nobody there, though. You just
I just thought, like 30 seconds before or 30 seconds after, he'd have been absolutely fine. Just the sheep had been in front of him. That would have been. I thought the timing was absolutely impeccable. But I just carried on. I went, morning. And he went, all right, pet.
I can't believe you've waited till today.
No, I forgot all about it until I was thinking, what's my red face this week?
Oh, that's a brilliant one. That's his red face as well.
Well, that's more his red face than mine, yeah. Anything for you, Rob?
I can't beat that if I'm being.
I went wild camping last week in a Mercedes van. That'll be a story. Look what. Oh, that could be misinterpreted, Joe. Everything I'd come up with. I think he needs a peephole on his van door. Okay. Go on, Rob.
I don't. Certainly nothing this week. I actually shared something at BNI last week.
Yeah.
Years ago. And we are going back a long time. There's quite a few of us on the beach. In Acapulco, and we'd had a few too many beers. And we all decided to hire jet skis, and it was probably one of the worst things we've ever done in my life. Me and this other lad crashed into each other. Caused hundreds of dollars worth of damage on the jet skis. He probably end up listening to this. His name's Scott as well. Still in touch with him. And they were gonna lock us up on the beach because we couldn't until we got the money together. And we didn't realize how dangerous it was. This was in '98, and you didn't want to be locked up.
You've had a couple of beers, haven't you?
Yeah. So we didn't realize how dangerous Mexico was in 1998. But yeah, so nearly got locked up on the beach in Mexico, crashing a jet ski.
Wow, that's pretty cool, though.
That's
not embarrassing. That's quite cool, isn't it?
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a cool story, that. So shout out to the grown-ups. Any grown-ups who've done amazing things this week?
Shout out to a lady called Heather. She's a volunteer counsellor with us. Heather, we first met Heather when she came to us for support after she lost her daughter, Hallie. Mm-hmm. She ended up got counselling with us. She then took it upon herself to become a counsellor herself. She's undertook training to become a counsellor. She also works in a pharmacy in Crosby, and in the midst of training, working, family life, she then also set up a place called Hallie's Hub, which is a community place in Litherland. And I genuinely don't know where she gets the time from, and she volunteers with us. She sees other families now with us. She's got so much energy, she actually makes me dizzy sometimes, to be honest. But she's generally, she's just a wonderful person, such a big heart. But yeah, she amazes me, to be honest. And
Well done.
Name's Heather.
Well done, Heather. Massive shout out to you. What about you, San?
A couple. Vince Cleghorn, who was a guest on our show, author, he's just released another new book, Naughty Tim Sprocket and the Case of Sticky Fingers. I love all the stuff he does. It's great. And then also to David Benham, who was one of our guests previously from the Battler Group. He actually joined the Battler Group from Portsmouth. Who the thing with the Battler is people meet up from all over the place. And they did their parade in front of Buckingham Palace. So and it was like that, taking a photo of the telly quick, but loads of us did, and they showed me how it should be done when I watched it. But yeah, so shout out to them as well. What about you, Hal?
So I'm going to shout out to Dana. So Dana was in the parade, wasn't she? Which was lovely. Yeah, she was in the parade, and she's a cool cat, as Dana, isn't she? And she just does boss things. So massive shout out to our Dana, and also a massive shout out to Dave Murphy. So Dave Murphy owns the camper van, and he let me hire it, and he's given it me to go down to Cornwall to do my race as well, as his donation to the charity, because he's a pretty. Yeah. No, that's how I said, like, can I take it just as like a little, a little practice run. So he is a cool cat, and yeah, so massive thank you. But yeah, Danax was swinging a flag, wasn't she, and stuff like that.
Yeah, we had a few people comment actually, because when we shared the post, a few people said about where it is, and I said, it's a friend of ours, you can hire it, he's based over the water. So, and a couple of people have asked me for his number and that, so I'm just going to ask him if that's okay, because I think a few people might hire it. We had Joe Summers on as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
Who set up a business to hire they've got like VW vans and stuff, because people have different requirements. But it was just cool. It was just so nice to be able to pull up, look at the Anthony Gormley statues and have a cup of tea. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. So do we have a positive challenge, Rob? Is there a positive challenge that people can go out and about and do this week?
Yeah, if you do know a bereaved parent and you haven't spoken to them for a while, just drop them a text, ask them how they're doing. It's appreciated, and it goes a long way.
Amazing. Yeah.
Don't always know what to say, but it's better to just try and reach out. Even if you fancy a cuppa.
Yeah.
That's it. You fancy a cuppa.
Yeah. Just something simple.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's a great positive challenge. And that goes to anyone that you haven't spoke to for a while. Just drop them a little text and say, how's things? It hasn't got to be anything massive, hasn't it? That's amazing. So I've just got to do a quick save the date. So I need people to save the date, which is July the 12th, which is a Tuesday. Okay. Success in the City is having its own little road show. We're having a live event with Liverpool John Moores Uni, the 4.0 start. And we're going to have a big networking type group meeting with a massive twist for businesses to get involved and for people to just come down and see each other and see, the amazing work that Liverpool John Moores Uni do as well. And we're going to do some little success in the city. We've got some past guests who are going to be there, and we're going to do some little 10-minute lives through, and then we're going to go live with the show, aren't we, from there? So I'm dead excited about the roadshow. So save the date, which is July the 12th. So I want to say a massive thank you, Rob, for giving your time today, and sharing your story. You and Kathy do amazing things, and please continue doing everything. For everyone who's a business or a supporter or anyone like that, my positive challenge for you is to sign up to the race, to the virtual race. Sandra, massive thank you to you as always. And Rob, we're going to hand it over to you for a mantra closing quote that you live by.
Sort of something again. I sort of got asked at BNI last week. How do you keep doing what you're doing? It's just it's just to remember why I'm doing it, and that's what keeps me going. It's I remember my daughter, and I try and do something good by her.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to end the show. See everybody next week. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Cheers. Thank you.